Welcome back to Timeless Messages from the I Ching. This is Stephen. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. So the question for today's video is, what are the most important messages for the viewers at the time they find this video? Most important messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. That could be in 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, doesn't matter when. Your divine self has guided you here for reasons, and the messages here are to help you in your current life situation. The two hexagrams that came through are number 42, increase, and number 21, biting through. Interestingly enough, when you add 21 and 21, you get 42. Kind of an interesting message there. So perhaps by incorporating the ideas in biting through the second hexagram, you will receive more increase. Okay, so let's start with increase, number 42. We have the gentle wind on top, which is related to the direction of the southeast in a home or any structure. And also, this is in northern hemisphere, that is. The gentle wind would be in the southeast. And the arousing thunder would be in the east. That also applies to the southern hemisphere as well. The idea of increase is expressed in the fact that the strong lowest line of the upper trigram has sunk down and taken its place under the lower trigram. So here we have the upper trigram has a bottom line that's yin, that's pictured here as sunken down to the lower line of the bottom trigram, which is a masculine line, a solid line, a yang line. This conception also expresses the fundamental idea on which the Book of Changes is based. To rule truly is to serve. A sacrifice of the higher element that produces an increase of the lower element is called an out-and-out increase. And it indicates the spirit that alone has power to help the world. So a higher element would be a governmental agency, someone who's in a higher position of power or wealth, abundance, that produces an increase by reaching down to the lower elements, okay, and giving them increase. The judgment increase, it furthers a person to undertake something. It furthers this person to cross the great water. So you're not crossing the small pond, you're not crossing the small puddle, you're actually undertaking something that's a little bit larger here, a project, let's say. Sacrifice on the part of those above for the increase of those below fills the people with a sense of joy and gratitude that's extremely valuable for the flowering of the commonwealth of the people. When people are thus devoted to their leaders, any undertakings are possible, and even difficult and dangerous enterprises will succeed. Excuse me, just had to adjust the camera. Therefore, in such times of progress and successful development, it's necessary to work, to have effort, and to make the best use of this time. This time of increase resembles that of the marriage of heaven and earth, when the earth partakes of the creative power of heaven, forming and bringing forth living beings. So an idyllic time on earth. The time of increase does not endure, does not last forever. Therefore, the time of increase must be utilized while it lasts. The image, wind and thunder, the image of increase, thus a superior person. If they see good, they imitate the good. And if they see faults or have faults of themselves, within themselves, they rid themselves of these faults. While observing how thunder and wind increase and strengthen one another, a person can note the way to self-increase and self-improvement. Excuse me. When a person discovers good in other people, this person should imitate this good and thus make everything on earth their own. If a person perceives something bad in themselves, let themselves rid themselves of this badness. And in this way, this person becomes free of evil. This ethical change represents the most fundamental and important increase of personality, of imitating good, emulating good, and letting go of the evil, of whatever is bad. So let's talk about the changing lines. Here we go. 6 in the 4th place. If you walk in the middle and report to the prince, he will follow. it furthers one to be used in the removal of the capital. So if you walk in the middle, if you walk a middle path and report to a higher power, this higher power will follow. And it furthers for you to be of service. It's important that there should be people who mediate between leaders and followers, between high and low. There should be disinterested people, especially in times of increase, since the benefit is to spread from the leader to the people. What does this mean? So if you're going to be an intermediary, if you're going to be a person who reports to a prince, to a higher power, in the effort to extend blessings and abundance to those in lower situations, you want to have that sense of detachment and disinterestedness, especially in this time of increase, since the idea is to provide benefit from the leader to the people, and you're this intermediary, okay? Nothing of this benefit should be held back in a selfish way. Therefore, you shouldn't try to claim these things for yourself. You should be a channel, a hose, a conduit, so these benefits and blessings can pour through to the people. It should really reach those for whom it is intended, those blessings and abundance from the prince or from the leaders, from those on higher positions. And it should really reach those for whom it is intended. This sort of intermediary, who also exercises a good influence upon the leader, is especially important in times when it is a matter of great undertakings. For decisiveness is very important for the future and requiring the inner agreement of all concerned. Just want to recap on this. So if you're this intermediary, you also have a good influence upon the leader. This leader could take many different forms. Could be a person who leads a company or a governmental agency, a person who is in a position of power or abundance, who you are representing. And it's especially important in times when it's a matter of a great undertaking that you may be a part of, decisive for the future, and requiring the inner agreement of all concerned. So this is a very serious and responsible position that you may find yourself in right now. And it's a wonderful position. And I'm sure that you'll do a wonderful job in mediating between leaders and followers. 9 in the 5th place. If in truth you have a kind heart, ask not. Supreme good fortune. Truly, kindness will be recognized as your virtue. True kindness does not count upon, nor does it ask about merit and gratitude, but rather kindness acts from inner necessity. Let's just define this a little more. So this talks about kindness, this virtue within yourself, and you're not asking people, well, I wonder if this person really deserves my kindness. Do they really merit this? That's not coming through your mind. And of course, you're not saying, well, this person's not very grateful, so therefore, I don't think I'm going to be very kind to this person. No, you're going to have that true kindness shine forth because it's needed. You're acting from an inner necessity. Okay, a wonderful place to come from. And such a truly kind heart finds itself rewarded in being recognized. And thus, the beneficial influence of this kindness will spread unhindered. So this means that your kind heart feels rewarded when it's recognized, and the beneficial influence of your kindness can then spread unhindered. So the idea of your kind way, your virtuous kindness being seen, being recognized, and being rewarded. And you feel good about that. And then that makes you more inspired to allow that beneficial kindness to spread further and further. So the idea of increase, the idea that this time does not last forever, the idea of working during this time to make things happen. If you have faults within yourself, getting those faults out of your being. If you see others that are doing good, imitate that, emulate that. And if you have the ability to be an intermediary between high and low, between leaders and followers, then I'm sure you will do a fantastic job. You will not be selfish in any way, and the blessings and abundance that need to really reach those for whom they are intended will reach those. So it sounds like you may be in a very serious and responsible position in your life, and you may be helping someone who's convalescing, someone who's healing, someone who needs assistance, someone who is weak, someone who needs help. You may be just the right person to be that helper, to be that intermediary. And the leader could be God, could be the creator. You're allowing yourself to help the the powers on high, wherever those powers may be. Could be many different locations. But you're allowing yourself to allow those powers to work through you to bless those in need. And your kindness is coming through. And this is a wonderful image for you to take with you. It's a time of progress and successful development. And sacrifice on the part of those above. Now, this could be government, could be the creator, could be whomever. Your angels, your spirit guides who want to offer blessings. Sacrifice on the part of those above for the increase of those below fills the people with a sense of joy and gratitude. That's extremely valuable for the flowering and blossoming of everyone's abundance. This is a wonderful position for you to be in. Now we move on to the second hexagram, biting through. Number 21. Here we have the clinging fire, which is in the south in terms of northern hemisphere feng shui, and we have Chen, the arousing thunder, which is in the east, and that applies to the southern hemisphere structures as well. And if you could look at those areas, the south and the east, and see if there's some clutter or something that could be done to clarify or organize that space, this could be a very wise thing for you to do, very helpful. Biting through. This hexagram represents an open mouth with an obstruction in the fourth place. The fourth place, as you see, is the bottom line of the upper trigram. It's a masculine line, a solid line. It's a yang line. So this represents an open mouth with an obstruction, in the fourth place between the teeth. Okay. As a result, the lips cannot meet because there's an obstruction between the teeth. And to bring the lips together, a person must bite energetically through this obstacle. Since the hexagram is made up of the trigrams for thunder and for lightning, lightning would be the clinging fire on top. It indicates how obstacles are forcibly removed in nature. For an energetic biting through overcomes the obstacle that prevents joining of the lips. The storm, with its thunder and lightning, overcomes the disturbing tension in nature, and recourse to law and penalties overcomes the disturbances in harmonious social life caused by criminals and slanderers. The theme of this hexagram is a criminal lawsuit in contradiction to that of conflict, number 6, which refers to civil lawsuits. Okay, so here we have the idea of a lawsuit. Now, this could be a real criminal lawsuit in your life, but probably it could be an interpersonal dynamic in which you need to get on top of. Let's discover more. The judgment, biting through, has success. It's favorable to let justice be administered. When an obstacle to union arises, energetic biting through brings success. This is true in all situations. Whenever unity cannot be established, the obstruction is due to a talebearer, someone who's lying, and traitor, who is interfering and blocking the way. So this points the ideas to an obstacle in your life. Okay, there's an obstacle in your life. You may or may not be aware of it. And it's important for you to take energetic biting through this, to energetically bite through this to bring success. You can't just sit back and let this obstacle continue. This is true in all situations, that you have to get through and bite through this obstacle so that union can arise. Now, this could be union between two people, okay? Could be union of your inner peace and your tranquility with your whole being. Maybe you feel blocked in some capacity, not united with that tranquility and peace because there's an obstacle in your life that's prohibiting it. A lot of different ways this can manifest. Let's continue. To prevent permanent injury, energetic and vigorous measures must be taken at once. Deliberate obstruction of this sort does not vanish of its own. Judgment and punishment are required to deter or obviate it. Deter means to discourage someone from doing something by instilling doubt or fear of the consequences. Simply put, deter means to stop or to prevent. So obviate also is similar. It means to avoid or prevent, to remove a need or difficulty. So it's important to have judgment and punishment. These are required to essentially prevent and stop and remove these obstacles or this obstacle. However, it's important to proceed in the right way. The hexagram combines Li, which is clarity on top, and Chen, which is excitement on the bottom. Li is yielding. Chen is hard. Extreme hardness and excitement would be too violent a punishment. And unqualified clarity and gentleness, if you're too gentle, then this would be too weak. You have to have the middle path here. The two together, okay, clarity and energy, or being yielding and also being hard, okay? The two together in the right measure create the right balance. And it's important that the person who makes the decisions, represented by the fifth line, is gentle by nature. Okay, it's important to note that this person who is you are generally gentle by nature, and you're the person making the decisions. But you also command respect by your conduct in your position. So the importance of proceeding in the right way, having that clarity, understanding, okay, yeah, there is definitely a deliberate obstruction that's occurring. Someone is doing something, let's say behind your back, something's happening that's not working. It's not creating benefits. It's creating problems, okay? It's very important for you to get on top of this and to not delay. So that clarity, to understand that, first off, and then the ability to create some sort of punishment, okay? Some sort of consequences, all right? So you don't want to be too hard in the consequences, nor do you want to be too gentle, okay? You want to be clear, but you don't want to be too light, and you don't want to be too heavy. So you have to have the right balance, okay? Also, it's important to remember that you are the person making the decisions, and in general, you are by nature a gentle person, but you have to command respect by your conduct and your position. In order to do that, to command respect, you have to get on top of this deliberate obstruction, okay? And you can also get on top of this deliberate obstruction by keeping steadfast in your conduct, by continuing to do what is right perpetually, okay? That's an important thing for you to continue to do. So your example is going to help as well, and your consistency, that will command some respect, but more than likely, you're going to have to command respect by biting through this deliberate obstruction that is caused by someone who is doing something behind your back, behind the scenes, telling lies, someone who is a traitor, who is interfering and blocking the way, okay? And remember, to prevent permanent injury, okay, to yourself, you have to take energetic and vigorous action at once, okay? But make sure you do it in the right way, clarity and the right amount of firmness. Okay, the image thunder and lightning, the image of biting through. Thus the kings of former times made firm the laws through clearly defined penalties and punishments. Penalties and punishments are the individual applications of the law. The laws specify the penalties. Clarity prevails when mild and severe penalties are clearly defined and differentiated, according to the nature of the crime, or according to the nature of the wrongdoing. Doesn't have to be a criminal thing. Could be just someone who's blocking the way, creating obstruction. So the idea of mild or severe penalties and clearly defining this. If it's just a small thing, you might get a rap on the knuckles. Okay, just a small little penalty. If it's more severe, then it's a more severe punishment. And this is symbolized by the clarity of lightning. Lightning is represented by the clinging fire, so lightning on the top. And the law is strengthened by a just application of penalties and punishments. And this is symbolized by the terror of thunder. So here we have thunder below, which creates a terror, a fear in people. And on the top we have lightning, which provides the clarity for people to understand the mild or severe penalties or punishments that will be a result of their behavior. Okay? So thunder on the bottom with terror, and lightning on top with clearly defined penalties. This clarity and severity have the effect of instilling respect. It is not that the penalties are ends in themselves. The obstructions in the social life of a person increase when there is a lack of clarity in the penal codes, or a lack of clarity in consequences, and a slackness in executing these consequences. Slackness would be if you're lazy, if you have you're slower and less active than usual, you're neglectful. So the only way to move forward is to get rid of these obstructions by enforcing some sort of awareness of there will be consequences, okay? Enforcing those ideas in other people's minds. The obstructions in the social life of a person increase if there's a lack of clarity in the punishments, okay? And a laziness or a neglectfulness in taking action on these punishments, okay? These consequences. So the only way to strengthen the law is to make it clear and to make consequences, penalties, and punishments certain and swift. So this is very interesting that these two hexagrams are connected. I really find the numeric ideas of 21 and 21 equaling 42 of interest. So behind the scenes, on the other side of the coin, we have biting through, and on the other side of the coin, we have increase. And the two together are painting a picture of your current life situation. Both of these are two different dynamics that are either occurring right now or are soon to occur in your life. And these paint the way, or the picture, for you to extricate or free yourself from these deliberate obstructions, from an obstacle to union, from union that has been denied you with your tranquility and peace. Someone has been telling lies, someone's been a traitor and has been blocking the way, and you have to make it clear to this person or persons that this will not be tolerated. You have to have that clarity, and you have to have the understanding that they can know without doubt that you're not going to tolerate this. There are going to be consequences if they persist in this. Okay? And you're the person who makes the decisions. You're the person who is represented by the fifth line. You're in the decision-making process here. You're in this power position. And by your nature, you are a gentle person. But you are going to need to command respect by your conduct in your position and the way you conduct yourself in your communication with this person who's causing this deliberate obstruction, or persons. So good luck with energetically biting through this obstruction and bringing things together into a better place. So you don't have this obstruction behind the scenes any longer, and so you can truly enjoy the increase and the goodness that you deserve. And remember, from increase, as previously mentioned, if you are a person who's in a position of mediating between high and low, between the Creator and those that need the blessings, could be a person who needs healing, who you're helping to get better. Could be a group that you're helping. You're maybe representing a prince or someone in power, someone who is in government. Can take many different forms. But you are this person who is helping these blessings, this goodness, this healing, this these wonderful qualities reaching from high to low. Okay? Wonderful position for you to be in. And remember to remain virtuous in your kindness, because you are this kind person. Okay? And your kindness extends to everyone because of their necessity. It's not about whether they merit this kindness, whether they deserve it or not, whether they're grateful or not, because you're truly kind, because they need the kindness. You're a truly kind heart, and you will be rewarded, okay, and be recognized for this kindness, and that kindness will be inspired in you to spread even further. So those are the messages I have for you. I hope it helps. I would listen to this again and again and try to incorporate these messages as much as possible. I hope it helps you. Thanks for tuning in, and take care.